Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. Anyway, so after that, you know, I basically had a lot of extra work to do in the office because I'm setting everything up so that I don't have to be in here at all on Thursday, my day off. So, you know, I'm setting up the advanced playlist. I'm uploading the videos. I'm doing everything far in advance. And, you know, I was actually in here late getting all that work done and everything. You know, film the daily wrap, upload everything. And everything was fine. So I walked out of here, and yesterday was a pretty fun day. We'll talk about that in a second because I know people are going to want to have a Phil's Day Off segment. Actually, it was one of the better days that I had with my wife, which was surprising because we thought it was going to be stressful, but I'll explain in a minute. And so, this morning, all right, you know, I wake up and everything's normal, having a fun day with the fam, as they say, downstairs, having a coffee, having a bagel. All the woodland creatures are outside going crazy because we put out some nuts in the morning, and you know, they're eating everything. So I'm nothing wrong or anything like that. Everything should be fine. So I finish my breakfast and I come up here and I walk into the office. It's oddly quiet. I'm like, why is it so quiet in here? I don't really hear any of the ambient noises that are normal for this office. I don't get why I'm not hearing anything at all. I start looking around. Well, I can see on my right-hand side of my office, everything's powered. Like, I can see that my capture device is lit. The little router that I have on the floor that splits the internet to all the consoles, that's lit. Okay. I turn to the left to all the equipment on the left-hand side of the office. Everything's off. And I'm like, huh? What's going on? And I walk over and I push the power button on my PC and it won't turn on. And I said, oh no. Don't tell me that there was something, you know, a power surge, a spike. Don't tell me that my stuff's fried. Like, not only, because like I said, it wasn't just the PC, but other stuff too. I was like, oh no. Don't tell me now that this has happened and half the equipment in my room is dead. But by the way, this would not be the first time this has ever happened to me if it happened. When I was in my 20s, okay, and I was living with my parents at the time, I used to be a PC enthusiast. Yes, I know today it's quite the opposite. I don't really care for PCs that much. I don't build them. I don't play games on them. But back then I was. And I had multiple PCs, gaming rigs that I had built from scratch in my parents' house. I actually had a network in my house where the two were networked. And I would have friends come over and we would play like Unreal Tournament and stuff together online, which was really fun. So one time I went to a video game tournament. It was a Street Fighter tournament for the weekend. So I leave, and I come back, and my parents say, so we don't want you to freak out, but we had a power storm, a lightning storm while you were gone. Now, normally this wouldn't be a big deal, except the lightning bolt came down and hit the power line down the street. We could see it. The whole thing was on fire. So the fire department had to come, and they had to release it. We didn't have power for a day. And we don't know what happened in the house. Now, the thing is, I had all my equipment plugged into surge protectors. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I started turning everything on. One of my PCs had completely fried. It wouldn't turn on. The components didn't work. Somehow it had received an actual shock through the lines. And this PC, luckily this was my lower end gaming PC. One was like probably like a $2,000 rig. And I would say this one was probably around $1,000 maybe. But the whole thing. Now, wow. Well, that's just great. And I'm not even kidding. That was about the time that I actually stopped building PCs. That was around, man, I would probably say, you know, just thinking in my head, probably 2004 or something like that, you know. But since then, I kind of fell out of love with PCs. I was like, if at a moment's notice, you know, even if it's plugged into a surge protector, something like this can happen and you lose $1,000, I don't think this is a very good hobby to have, right? So I stopped, and then since then I haven't cared. So anyway, flash forward to today. I'm looking at all my equipment. I'm like, oh my God, this feels exactly like that day. I was like, this is not good. If everything in this office is fried, because you got to understand, on my left hand of my office is my PC, 2 monitors, obviously all the accessories that are plugged directly into, say, that power line or into that PC itself, speakers and all kinds of stuff there. My microphone and everything there. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is really, really bad. If everything just fried, this is potentially thousands of dollars of damage. And not only do I have to replace it, but I have to replace it fast so I can work. You know, what would be my backup? I would have to stream from my phone for a few days, just dicking around, I guess. I wouldn't be able to do gameplay. You know, I have a mini PC, but how am I going to set that up to stream? It's not meant for that. It's probably going to run way too hot to do it. I would have to install OBS scenes and shit into it. I would have to run wires across the room. It's not ideal. I don't really have, like, an emergency backup. I have a low-end PC in my closet that I could probably hook up and get to work just for basic use, but I doubt it would be used for capturing games or anything like that. So I could probably do podcasts and stuff for a week, and that's about it. Like, I wouldn't be able to do gameplay until I replaced my PC to be able to do something. So I was really, really nervous. Okay? So the good news is it was basically the best case scenario out of a bad occurrence. My stupid battery backup died. I don't know what it is about these battery backups. They suck. They really do. So you're supposed to buy a battery backup, and what it's supposed to do is create backup power for all of your devices if your power goes out. So for example, the last thing you would want is your PC to just turn off without a proper shutdown sequence, right? You could have corruption in files. You can have all kinds of bad things to happen. So by having a battery backup, what's supposed to happen is if your power flickers or goes out, your PC warns you. You'll hear a big beep. Oh, power's out. You now have like 20 minutes to shut down all applications and shut down your PC so that you don't lose anything. And I've always had one of these, just to be clear. Ever since I started doing YouTube like 15 years ago, I've always had a battery backup. But these things are so shitty. Even the ones that are supposed to be good are shitty. They don't warn you when they're dying. Like, you would think, okay, if it's starting to die, it would give you some warning. It would flicker. It would maybe have a beep that says, hey, FYI, battery is failing. Buy a new one. No, these things just overnight turn off. And this is probably the third time in my history as a content creator that this has happened to me. And it terrified me. I genuinely had thought that my stuff had broken. And it wasn't. It's just the battery backup doesn't work. Okay? So nothing happened. We had no inclement weather, no fluctuations in power. It just died on my day off. And luckily for me, I have a power strip. It's not a battery backup, but it's just a regular surge protector power strip thing that I've had for ages. And it happens to be an extra one lying around. I was like, okay, thank God I have a backup there. At least now, for the short term, I can plug all my stuff back in. I can get the setup up and running again. And at least we can work. And what I'll have to do is over the next few weeks, I'll see what's on sale. We usually have post-Christmas sales and shit like that online. I'll see if I can find one that normally maybe would have been a good one, but it's on discount or something like that online. Because these things can be pricey. Like, you can get a cheap one for under $100, and usually those are terrible. Like, usually those have, like, no features. They have failures and stuff like that. You could get one for, like, $1,000. I'm not kidding. Yes, you could buy a battery backup for, like, $1,000, but that's more like if you're maintaining a server farm with a lot of valuable data, and you don't want any of that to corrupt, so you want to have something that gives you, like, 2 hours of backup time if your power goes out, which I don't need. Like, I literally just need it to warn me if the power went out, so I can run up here and shut everything down or whatever, and then leave. That's it. That's all I need. In this case, that's what I mean. In this case, this thing died and made no noise. Or if it did, maybe it was during my day out yesterday. Maybe I wasn't home, so I didn't hear it going beep, beep, beep. That could be. That could have been what happened. Anyway, so I was nervous, and luckily crisis averted for now. But sadly, it means now I got to dump some money. You know, in the next few weeks to month, I got to find another one, a replacement, and buy it. Because you really should have a battery backup when you have a streaming setup or anything like this. You want to make sure your equipment doesn't get ruined. You know, my PC is old. It's almost a decade old. I got it in 2014, right? So basically, in this case, I don't want power fluctuations hitting this thing. This thing could likely be on its last legs. Like last week, remember, it was making noise. So I opened it up during my RoboCop stream, and I found 2 of the fans had died. But this thing has like 12 fans. Like, it has 2 fans on this side, 2 fans on that side, 2 fans on the underside, 2 fans on the back, and 2 fans on the front. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 10 fans. Plus the internal fans, like the fans on the graphics card, the fans on the processor. So this thing has, like, insane amounts of fans. So for a couple to die, it's not a big deal. This thing's a decade old. It's kind of expected, right? So it's starting to get old. It's dirty. I'm looking into actually also buying a device that it's like an air blower, so you could clean out all the dust from the inside, because it was disgusting. Like, I opened it and my hands were covered in black dust. Like, oh my god, this thing's fucking nasty. So likely I'm gonna have to do some stuff, not only backup battery, but maybe a cleaning device and all that kind of stuff, hopefully in the next month. You know, typically this time of the year is the better time of the year for me. We got better streams, you know, Christmas event coming up. Usually I raise a few extra funds, so I'd be able to dump something, hopefully, on some of this stuff that I need to keep stuff going. Of course, again, here we go. Ideally, yes, I want to replace everything. Ideally, I would like to do a complete, whatchamacallit, upgrade. Whole new PC. We talked about it last year. Never got around to it. And the good thing is, it's a good thing we didn't, because I've heard that now PC components not only have advanced, but have gotten a lot cheaper. Remember a year ago, everyone was still doing that cryptocurrency bullshit with their graphics cards, and now apparently that's crashed. Like, the cryptocurrency market's crashed. So now apparently PC components are a lot cheaper. So maybe when I'm finally around to doing it, maybe next year, it'll be a lot cheaper. You know, instead of looking at a $3,000 PC, maybe we're looking at like a $1,500 PC that does the same thing. That'd be pretty amazing. So I guess we'll have to see. Okay. So anyway, that's my story for that. I mean, crisis averted, thank goodness, and it's not a big deal. Everything's working. It's plugged into a surge protector. I just need to get another battery backup. But it scared me. I almost pooped myself. I'm not going to lie. If everything had died, like, it's one thing if one component dies. If the PC dies, that would really suck. Like, no exaggeration. For a day or two, I'd have to be streaming from my phone temporarily. Like, I'd probably find a way to mount my phone over here where the camera is and try to do a stream or two. And then I'd probably have to, like, mess with, like, either the mini PC or my old backup PC, which is over a decade old, just to get basics. Like, if I could just film the podcast or just a show where I talk to you guys for a few days until I can figure something out, like to order a new PC or something. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. Hope for the best. Oh, yeah? Battle Duck says, the GPU manufacturers are still riding the stupid price level wave. They're keeping their stock short. So they're scumbags. Got it. Just like the gasoline providers. Gotcha. That's very nice to hear. Okay. I would have literally defecated there in my office. Well, likely what would have happened was I would have I would have just run to the bathroom and got there just in time, hopefully. Because that would just extrapolate the situation. If I not only did my components die, but I also defecated in my pants, it would probably just make it worse, right? So, luckily my bathroom's right around the corner. There you go. That's what's going on now. Hopefully everything's fine and we don't have any further technical difficulties today. That'd be nice. So,
I got the drip go. 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 I got the drip go.
It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop.
So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean. These dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.